Hey there, it's Toya with your Wednesday word, and today's word is don't rush the process. Now, this is something that is really hard to do because we live in the microwave, generation where we want some stuff done and we want it done now. But we have to remember not to rush the process and to respect the process, because a lot of times what God is doing in our lives takes time. It takes ruminating. It takes time. When things are going on that you don't like, or you've asked God to do something, God has to get you ready for whatever it is that you're asking for. Sometimes we think we're ready and we're not really ready. And so even though we want it and we want it now, it's possible that we may need to get rid of some things before that happens. It's possible that we may need some character building before something great happens for us. It's possible that we need to build more skill before we get the position that we want. It's possible that we just need more time to grow into the person that we need to be before we get what it is that we want. So we have to learn not to rush the process and to trust God, to trust that not only does God have what it is that we want and need, not only is God taking us where he wants us to be, but we have to know that God knows the right timing when something needs to happen in our lives. We don't know everything. Listen, you don't know everything. Even though perhaps you think you do, you don't know everything. And so you don't know how what's happening in your life is affecting someone else's life. Like, for example, there may be some things that are in conjunction, that are connected. You don't know what's connected. You don't know how God has got things planned. And so sometimes you may want something right now, but it may be connected to somebody else's something. And the pieces have to come together at the right time. And so you got to be patient. You got to respect the process, of when things are happening and why they're happening. And that's another thing. You don't know why some things are happening. The truth is that a lot of times we don't realize why something happened the way it did or when it did until way after the fact. And so, you just got to trust God that he has everything in control and that he knows when it's supposed to be done. You don't know what is connected, like I said, to somebody else's something. You may have to be ready so that when the thing comes upon you or comes to you, you can go ahead and influence somebody else's life. But if you're not ready, you're not going to be able to do that. If all you care about is getting what it is that you want so that you can have it, perhaps you're not ready to have it because God is not really wanting to give it to you just for you. That he's wanting to give it to you for you and for all these other people as well. But if your character is not built up to the point where you care about more than just you and yourself, then are you ready for what it is that you're asking for? Perhaps not. We just really need to take into account that sometimes the things that we want, sometimes the things we ask for, sometimes the things that we're going for, there's a process, of getting us ready for them and getting those things ready for us. I'm convinced that there are things that I have wanted God to do that have been too small. They've absolutely been too small. Things that I've asked God to do, things that I've asked him to let me do, I'm convinced that he hasn't allowed me to do it because they're too small. Like I've been thinking too small, and he just hasn't allowed me to accomplish them, to go in that direction, because if I went in that direction and succeeded, I would get stuck there. And so rather than allow me to be stuck in what is too small, he's just not letting me do it. It looks like failure. It looks like I'm not succeeding. But in reality, I am succeeding because I'm succeeding in the process of where God is taking me. And I'm convinced that for some of you, it's the same. That there are things that you want now and you want to do now, but what you're thinking is too small. And God is trying to get other things ready for you, bigger things ready for you. and the work that he has for you, but you're trying to rush it. You're trying to do something, and you don't need to do something. You need to do whatever God has for you. You need to do the God thing, not just the good thing. You need to do the God thing, and you don't need to just be doing anything. You don't need to be busy doing something. You need to be doing what it is that God has ordained for you to do and what he's anointed you to do. And sometimes that takes a wait. Sometimes you got to wait on it and go through the process to get it ready for you, to get you ready for it, and also to get people ready for you. Sometimes the process is being prolonged and you're going through because the people that you're going to affect, the things that you're going to do, they're not ready for you yet. So God is getting them ready for you. I'm just telling you, you don't always know everything that's involved. You're not God. You don't know everything that's involved. We just really need to start being more grateful, trusting God more, allowing him to be God, right? We take our prayers to him, and then we're not anxious for anything. We leave it in his hands, and we allow his timing to come to pass, and we just trust him all the way. All right? I'll see you guys next week. Be blessed.